developed after 1989 and how we have brought a new quality to the lives of many people who have been left behind, who could not find themselves in the new reality of free market economy, democracy, and yes, the new reality after those countries such as Poland, I come from Poland, regained freedom in 1989. So basically, BARKA Foundation was started by my parents, Barbara and Tomasz, who are psychologists and who, under communism, had worked in a number of institutions, welfare institutions, and they saw that things were not being done right, that people were suffering. And also, they knew that if we don't multiply the freedom which we received at the expense of so many people's lives, our ancestors' lives, we will lose the freedom. If we take it for granted and don't focus on furthering, advancing well-being of the community, we will lose it, as the history teaches us. So basically, and also my parents as psychologists and my community has had a great belief that that we are the capital. You know, we all talk about, we often hear discussions about financial capital, the infrastructure, investing in infrastructure, which will contribute to economic development of our society. But we need to talk more about human capital, because we are the capital, and also those of us who, for various reasons, have not been included in the mainstream economy and democracy, they are also a great capital. So people like those who don't belong anywhere, long-term unemployed, the homeless, the addicts, they have a capital in them which may be asleep, but it will be awakened, and it is being awakened through cultural diplomacy, meaning through bringing potentials together, bringing communities together. Cultural diplomacy in building bridges between civil society, the government, so public authorities, the business community, the churches, artists, media, all of them have a role to play in creating conditions for growth and empowerment of those who have been left behind. And this is how BARKA was created in 1989, BARKA Foundation. BARKA means lifeboat, a boat that takes on its deck those who cannot swim very well or who cannot afford to travel on elegant ships. We take them on BARKA. And we started, you see, this is a very personal now, because I was 6 years old. We were walking, my parents rented a house in the middle of nowhere, Western Poland, a village, and with a group of 25 people with whom they used to work in these welfare institutions, hospitals, mental hospitals, prisons, reformatories, orphanages. We were walking in snow in winter of 1989, just after Poland gained freedom, after 40 years of communist regime, walking to this building, ruined building in Western Poland, and we started to live together there for a number of years, for nearly 10 years actually. Living and working together, we were living off the work of our hands. So there was 3 hectares of land, we were cultivating black currants and potatoes, selling it to the local market. And this was democratically run, you know, so there were people, there was an older lady who came at the age of 96, who was kicked out by her family. There was a man after 25 years of prison, all in tattoos. There was a lady who came from the forest with dogs. She used to be a prostitute. So you see people from all walks of life who found themselves in trouble. And this is how I grew up. And this was my family. And what what happened, you see there, is that those who were living with us were growing and rebuilding their lives through having Christmas together, through everyday life, through responsibilities. Everyone was given responsibilities, duties. There were children running around. And those who became rehabilitated in the course of common life in this community became leaders of next such places. And this is really how the whole system was started in Poland and developed. We call it economy of inclusion, or economy of solidarity, or also social market economy. Social market economy. And the system is simple. It very much reflects the life cycle of an individual. So it consists of 4 programs, and these 4 programs influenced Polish legislation after 1989. So basically, I'm proud to say that groups of well-organized citizens, through their projects and actions, built and created legislation, which our government enforced. So the 4 programs are, and this is just for you to realize that this is in Poland, which had to build everything from scratch: democracy, legislation, free market economy, human capital, after years of oppression. So we started 4 and developed 4 programs. First is with regards to communities. It's based on farms, former state farms, where people who have various problems come, live, and rebuild their lives through joint work, through supporting one another in maintaining sobriety. It's families, men, women, through cultivating land, breeding animals. This is program 1. Program 2 is education, because many of them have no schooling or only basic schooling. After communism, 62% of our society had no occupation, so there was a huge need for education of those who lived their lives through communism, and the new reality was completely confusing to them. And so we developed so-called social integration centers. These are vocational centers for adults with low levels of employability, offering 1-year education. Program 3 is social cooperative social enterprises, small businesses established by vulnerable people, providing services. They are commissioned by local authorities. They take care of the elderly. They run little rickshaws. They cover distances from bus stops to cemeteries, riding rickshaws. And a lot of elderly people use this service. They take care of the green areas of the cities, lawns and parks. They clean offices. They cook meals for schools, and it's being commissioned by local borough councils, local municipalities. And it's people who have been for years unemployed or homeless, or you see, it's so. Program 4 is regards accessible housing program for low-income communities, low-income families. And I'm proud to say that based on those 4 pioneering projects developed by the BARKA Foundation in post-communist Poland, 4 legal acts, new legal acts have been enforced. It's law on social employment, law on public benefit organizations and voluntarism, law on accessible housing, state support to accessible housing, law on social cooperatives. And yes, it's very inspiring to see how the solidarity economy is growing in Poland and in Eastern Europe. I've been working for the last 7 years in London with vulnerable migrants from Central and Eastern Europe. We also have BARKA projects in Ireland, Netherlands, Germany, in Hamburg, and in France. And we've been invited to support local communities in Africa, to build solidarity economy, working with local communities. And we are now starting to create projects with Africa, social economy projects, not for Africa, but with Africa. So with the participation of local communities and them taking ownership of these, of the work from the very beginning. And this is what I wanted to share. It's great to be here. I hope we can have a fruitful partnership with ICD and with Mark, who is an inspiring person himself. I'm very grateful, and thank you. Thank you.